When I was initially given the brief, I thought straight away, let's try a big cast film, because I like the effect that the size of the cast on a zombie film has. Obviously this was never going to work, and looking at my initial research and ideas, it didn't fit with my audience, as they didn't think a psychological horror had to have a big cast. Because of this, I planned a smaller film that was more intricate and involving of the audience, rather than having them just sit back and watch. The first 30 seconds of the film were all filmed over a day. Initially, though, on one of the first edits, the audience didn't quite understand why the people in Simon's head were appearing and disappearing. Because of this, I decided to add this shot of saying "don't take the pills." At first, I guessed the audience would pick up hints, like the young boy disappearing in a second, for example, but this was a bad assumption. So rather than leave the audience completely guessing, I gave them some hints to the narrative. The audience liked this shot because it was quite shocking. It's a shot that follows the conventions of a thriller, i.e. one of the points where the audience knows more than the main character. This then meant it created a sense that the audience alienated the main character as much as the demons. This is then the reason why Simon breaks down towards the end of the film. In my film I tried to involve the audience as much as I could. This meant I could include the jumpy moment straight away early on because the audience was so involved in the story. When the first edit was watched, Elliot said it should have been a speedier cut to make it more shocking. First of all, it was a long shot and Simon turned round in the same shot, but making a quick cut meant the pace of the film picked up, as well as the audience becoming scared. Originally here, the speech was muffled to show the confusion and the fact that Simon's brain was not thinking straight on this shot. But when the audience watched it back, Alex said that the speech was not as clear. Because of this, I refilmed to make it clearer. This then meant rather than making Simon feel confused, it showed that the demons are very much disturbing him because they were appearing real. Originally, in my second edit, this was a smooth zoom, which created a sense of the audience really feeling the intensity between the two characters. In the third edit, I decided to change it to a set of 3 shots because the jumpiness meant it felt again confusing to the audience, because the timing was not clear, with small cuts getting closer to the two characters each time. This meant the shot was unnerving with the skipping of time, but the intensity was still there with the zooming in on both of them. Writer here said that the music was very foreboding, which created tension. These quick shots were aimed to try and build tension and therefore make the audience as scared as Simon by making the two people in his head very imposing. I tried to make it as though they were looking at the audience as well as Simon. Elle also said that she too liked the fast-paced edit shots between Simon and Dave. This is the part of the film where the audience started to feel for the two characters in his head. It has all been about Simon, but more and more into the film the two characters have come in. This created a sense that Simon couldn't get away from them at all. This was not what I initially intended, but changed the story so that it worked. This final shot was used to make the audience fully understand the story. Throughout the story, the narrative has not been completely obvious because I wanted the audience to try and work some of the story out. This meant they carried on watching. Elliot said that the voiceover was good since it provided the twist. It was as though the audience unintentionally put the pressure on Simon without realising, and this voiceover at the end was almost a lesson to the audience as much as revealing the rest of the story.